Cindy Ujai with Mom Cook, and I have a special guest to share with you today. This is Christina, and Christina is our customer care guru for everything. She works on systems, she works on customers' orders, consultants, questions, trainings, all different kinds of things. She's such a great asset to our company, and I'm so happy I invited her to come and join me today. Christina, why did you come, for real?
For cake. I came for cake.
I told her, well, I have to make 2 dozen cakes, so you can come and take one home with you. So we're real excited to have Christina here with us today. And what we're going to do is create this awesome tasting chocolate cake. So I just want to share with you a little bit about what a terrible cake baker. I always tell you that I was not a very good baker. I'm a really good cook, but I'm not really great at baking. And actually during the time of COVID, I've had more time in the kitchen. I've tried so many different things and I really get it now. And I feel that on a scale of 1 to 10, I've probably improved 10 times compared to how I was, but I'm certainly an amateur still. But I'm really excited to find great recipes, to not just find great recipes, but now I've gotten to the point of where I can actually tweak them and create my own taste and my own flavors. And I think it's time just everyone to really be thinking about what's inside a box cake mix. There are some, like the Ghirardelli brownie mix is fabulous, but there are some cake mixes that are really, really bad. And once you stop using cake mixes and you actually put some ingredients together and make your own cake, you'll know just by the smell of that cake baking from the oven that this is not full of preservatives and something that is really bad for you as far as GMOs and things like that, but you'll smell real flavor and you'll taste real taste. So I have a real treat for you in store today because we're going to bake this fabulous chocolate cake. And I heard that if you put these particular ingredients together and different recipes I've tried and whatnot online or that I've gotten out of cookbooks, even some of the French books which try to just combine everything together, it's all done in one bowl, which is really, really great. And I think I had actually asked Christina, since she's been with Mom Cook, which will be 2 years since I hired you in September, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think the biggest thing that you learned about being in the kitchen?
Preparation, getting it started, getting everything out in front of you so that way it doesn't seem so overwhelming when you get the process started.
Yeah, so do you feel like baking is easier now?
Yeah.
I know you're a famous chocolate cookie baker. Next time we'll try cake for cookies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what we have going on here is I'm going to share with you the ingredients for this chocolate cake, and I'm going to share with you later how I made the frosting, but because of time, I'm not going to be able to show you the cake and the frosting. I don't think there will be enough time because I want to show you how we actually ice the cake and kind of get it going. So the first thing that we're going to do, you know that any dry ingredients that you use, you're going to find lumps and things, and you want to either whisk them before you use them. But in this particular recipe, you can actually put all of the dry ingredients. So you're going to take the flour, and we're using the KitchenAid mixer on a low-medium speed. We're going to put the cocoa. It's 2 cups of flour, and for this batch, I'm using gluten-free flour. I absolutely positively love Better Batter gluten-free flour. It seems like I'm always running out of it, and Better Batter for me, for making cakes or bread, it is absolutely the best mix because it doesn't taste ricey or grainy or anything like that. There are no gums and no preservatives in this flour at all. It really is fabulous. So if you are gluten-free, as I am, you might want to try that.
Where can I get that, Cindy?
Actually, I go to betterbatter.com and I get it online. So really good question. So next, we have 3/4 of a cup of cocoa, and we have 2 cups of sugar. Now, I want to share with you. Normally, you would mix sugar and oil together and the vanilla and whatnot. But there's 2 cups of sugar. So the sugar that I use when I bake, I use a baker's sugar. And baker's sugar is the sugar that you buy that is very, very fine. And you'll see that this feels like powder. So you can, I like this better. It seems to mix much better in the recipes. And in Europe, that's what they always use. It's the same thing as castor sugar. So if you have a recipe calling for castor sugar, you can actually use baking sugar because they generally are the same thing. And I buy mine at Meijer's. I know there's Fred Meyer on the West Coast, so I'm sure that people could buy it online as well. So we're going to continue. We have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and we have 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, and then I know it's there. Salt. We have 1 teaspoon of salt, and then the rest of these ingredients we save for a minute. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put the mixer down, and I'm going to just mix this all together. What you want to make sure of, if you see chunks in your dry mix, then you're going to have chunks in your cake. I mean, generally that's just really a rule of thumb. What I generally do, and if you put your mixer, you think that it's not going quick enough, let me forewarn you, because I have made the mistake to speed it up. Cocoa is like baby powder. I mean, it just will go literally everywhere. So you really want to be careful about the speed that you have your mixer at. And we're just mixing this up so we get a finer grain, so all of the ingredients are really married together. And then I'd like to, I want to do a check with my spatula. I'm just going to go through this and make sure. I do see a couple chunks. You want to make sure that you get all the way down to the bottom, because sometimes the mixer doesn't do that. This looks pretty good, and honestly, I'm going to show you how it looks. This looks just like a hot cocoa mix. If you were a child and had that Nestle hot cocoa mix or any hot cocoa mix, you can see it's really fine. So you want to make sure that it's all one color, it's all blended together. You can't over mix it, so just do it until it's right. If you feel that your cocoa still maybe has a little few balls in it, you can actually take a whisk and just whisk all the way through it, and that will turn out just fine. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to, first I'm going to put my water on, because in the end, once we mix these other ingredients, we need 1 cup of boiling water. So I'm going to put my teapot on. And once that oils will be all done. So now we're adding, you want to add these, Christina? And I'll just stop? Yeah. Let's move this over for you soon. Okay, so now we're adding we're going to add all the ingredients, and then we're going to mix it together. So we're going to add 1 cup of buttermilk. And one rule of thumb, there is a powdered buttermilk. Some stores don't carry buttermilk, or they run out of it quickly. This, I didn't have buttermilk, and when I ordered it online, they didn't bring it because they didn't have any, and there wasn't really any good substitution. So I use the powdered mix. It's 4 tablespoons of the powder with 1 cup of water. And for baking, it actually works out really, really well. It keeps our cake really moist and tastes really good. Next thing is a 1/2 cup of liquid coconut oil. And I get the one that is, it's refined. There's no taste or smell to it, but it makes your cake so moist and really great. So that's in place of any vegetable oil or any other oil that you would use. And then we also have, the recipe, you could use 2 teaspoons of vanilla, but I use a 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla bean paste. So this vanilla bean paste is taken straight from the vanilla bean, and I absolutely love the paste. It keeps, again, it's very moist, but the flavor is, I think it's so much better, even if you use 100% vanilla extract. I really like the paste a lot better, and actually I buy the paste on Amazon because I don't usually find it in the store. So the next thing that we're going to use is the next liquid that we're putting in, and this is an extract, and this is a chocolate extract, right, from the cocoa bean. And the reason I use this in addition to the cocoa is it just smells so lovely, and I think it just takes that taste of the chocolate cake and just puts it up a notch. So that is really great too. And this is just a chocolate extract, and you can get this in a lot of stores. Or Amazon, of course. Then the next thing we're using is an espresso powder, and we're going to use 1 teaspoon of espresso powder. It's what they use actually for a tiramisu cake, but this doesn't taste like coffee. Don't worry, it doesn't taste like espresso, but it does mix with the chocolate and the chocolate extract as well, and the vanilla bean. It just lends a really, really great taste of everything. So now we're going to put the eggs in. I can tell you're a pro. A lot of people ask about this bowl. So this bowl, I actually was Christmas shopping, I think 2 years ago, and I saw it in the store, and I came home and I hadn't bought it, and I just went back and bought it because I just had to have it. I think it's so beautiful on your KitchenAid on the counter. So it is made by KitchenAid ceramic bowl. It's really beautiful. Okay, you can just set them on by the sink maybe. Okay, so now what we're going to do is turn our, and we are using the beater, not the whisk. And you're going to start on number 2. First you start like on a stir and then go to number 2. It's on number 2 right now. And then I'm going to turn it up to number 4, which is a medium. I want to make sure I don't have chocolate flying all over my house. And you don't have to mix this so much. It mixes up really quickly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a spatula and I'm going to mix down around the very bottom of here just to make sure that there's no ingredients, no powders that we see left. It's good. I see a few lumps in here just with the liquid coming together. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to mix it a little bit more on number 2. Going to get 1 cup of water because that's the last ingredient, and it is boiling water. It's just about boiled. Looks really good. So I'm going to turn it, it's at like 2.5, 3. I'm going to turn it off for a second. I'm going to add some of the water, just the top, just a little bit of the top of it. And I've got it on the stir mix. I'm going to continue adding this little by little. And if you add it all at once, what's going to happen, and if you turn it up in speed, it's going to splash everywhere. Of course, you can put your shield on it. I usually use a dish towel that I put over it. And I'm just slowly adding this hot water. The cake mix should be very liquefied. That also takes care of any of those lumps that you make if you had a few, which we did. I'm just moving it up to number 2, and I think we're all set. That's it. It's very simple. So you can see this is a very liquefied mix here. It's more like a sauce than a cake mix. And for what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 small cakes. I have my oven heating at 350 degrees. It's all set and ready. And the cake needs to cook for about 30 minutes. Now, the first time I made the cakes, I don't know why, but my recipe was not done in 30 minutes. It took like 37 minutes. So the second time I did it, it seemed closer to 32 minutes. And today when I did it, it was 30 minutes. So just always check and make sure that you rotate your cake. Just turn your tray around. If you're cooking 2 cakes, which I like to do 2 because you can do the icing in the middle. I have 2 and I'm going to share with you how we ice that. But you also want to make sure that you do rotate halfway through. And when you're baking, you should rotate because heat is not even, no matter if your oven is brand new or if it's 25 years old. So always try and rotate your the positioning of your racks. So I'm going to take the spatula and just make sure one more time for the bottom of this mix looks really good. It's very liquefied. I'm going to pour them not all the way to the top, 3/4 of the way full, a little bit more than half actually. We'll see with the next one. It's a little bit deeper. So I'm doing a round mold and a heart mold. Now the other cake that I did, I'm going to stack them on top of one another. If I were doing these, I would just pretty much leave them. Oh, I feel like I have a lot of mix. But that's always true. You end up with a lot of mix. You might have a little bit of a poof on the top of your cake if you overfill the mold. But that's okay because you can always cut that down and then stack on top of it if you want. Okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna stick these in the oven. They look really good and they're gonna come out beautiful. I think the advertisement we had for Live at 5, I actually had done both of these cakes. I put one in the freezer to take to Natalie, my daughter's house, and the first one I had made for my daughter Deanna for her birthday, which she saw in the advertisement. Okay, so that's going to cook for 30 minutes. Alrighty, so now we're going to take a look at, I'm just going to move the mixer so it's out of our way, Christina.
Okay.
We've done the chocolate frosting, and the chocolate frosting gets 3/4 of a cup of, I'm sorry, 1 cup of cocoa, and I use organic baking cocoa. It also has 1 cup of milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and you can put some more of the espresso powder, and I put half of a tablespoon of the chocolate in there as well. So I don't have the taste of the cake and the icing competing with one another. I like them to stay in sync with one another. So this is the first cake that I made earlier today. This was done in the medium round mold. And here is the second one, but I'm gonna finish on molding this and set it right on top of that cake. But Christina, since this is your cake, you have to tell us, what kind of decorations would you like on your cake?
I think we should go with our original sprinkles
Oh, cool.
and then the pearl sprinkles.
Oh, nice. So I'm gonna allow you to decorate it. So we have our icing right here. So the icing, like I said, is really turned into a good consistency. If it's humid, and it's very humid here today, your icing will seem a little bit more liquefied. If that is the case, put in 1 teaspoon of powdered sugar at a time as you blend it. And if it's too dry, you want to put a tablespoon of milk. So you just alternate that, and we'll have the recipe posted on our website. Would you like to try icing, or would you want me to do it?
I can ice it.
Okay, cool. So this is the mini icer. You can start with that one, then we'll use this long one afterwards. Here, I have one. So I hope you're all following along with this chocolate cake. You do not ever need to make a box cake mix. You can make this cake in no time at all. And honestly, if you take this cake to an event, people will be shocked that you made it because it tastes so good. The frosting's nice, right? It's 3 sticks of butter, and the key to the best frosting is not adding all the ingredients at once. Put the cocoa in, and then add the butter and mix the cocoa and the butter together for about 2 minutes on a very like number 2 or number 3, so the cocoa doesn't fly all over, but also so you give it an opportunity to really blend it all together. You want to make sure that your butter is absolutely positively at room temperature, because if it's not at room temperature, it will clump and you won't be able to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And then you'll taste the frosting and you'll taste like there's this clump of butter. So one thing we want to do, Christina, is we want to step out a little bit towards the sides of this to make it a little bit messier. And the reason we want to do that is so that when we place the cake on top, I can't even believe I'm telling you how to ice a cake. This is new for me. A little bit?
I like to taste everything when I put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what we want to do is we're going to use this that comes out. You can see there's more on the edge. We're going to use that to ice the sides of the cake.
For the crumb coat.
Yeah. And I think also you might want to, do you want to put sprinkles in between? No, you just want them on top.
Just on top.
Okay, cool. Okay, so what we're going to do is invert this. We're going to just basically peel this off. Stick my hand underneath here. Just put that one in the sink. So we have just such a beautiful cake already. Isn't that amazing? That's why we love our mold so much, because you can look like a pro without any fuss at all. It's very, very simple to look like a master. So you can see, like, that's why we left that icing around the side. Now I never knew how people could actually ice cakes and make them look so good. So this part I'm going to do, we have just a little Lazy Susan here. We're going to put the cake on top of here. And I'm going to take quite a bit of icing from here. Oops, I knew that was going to happen. It's perfect. It's fine. Okay, so we're going to take that icing and we're going to spread this across the cake. And with icing, you want to make sure that you have enough, but not too much. And you also want to make sure that you don't dig down into especially when it's humid, you don't want to dig down into the cake and then pull it up from the side. You want to be careful about that. And remember, you are going to cover this, so you want to do the best you can across the top. I have a paper towel here. I need to move this icing. I really dropped a lot of it, but it's okay because this recipe makes enough icing really for 2 batches of cake. Or if you had leftover mix, you could also go ahead and make a couple cupcakes. Would be good too. Later. So this is where the churning of this comes in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go around here. And it leaves kind of like a naked look on the cake when you do this. And when you do it with a white frosting, you can see it even more. But just basically just putting this on top and pulling it all the way through. There are some areas, and of course you'll always go back and clean up your plate. There are some areas that I think need a little bit more, so I'm not touching the bottom too much. I'm just touching the top, and I want to brush along the sides here to make sure that I get icing all around the cake. But I also don't want to ruin the fluted edge of the mold. It's a little bit trickier. I'll do one more push all the way around. Oops, we have a piece of cake coming undone, but it's quite all right. Okay. Okay, Christina, so now comes the time to put your sprinkles on. Do you want to do your pearls first, or there's an initial or anything that you want to put on there? No. Okay.
But it would be cute. Heart mold, the fluted heart cutters, and put it in the middle, and then do a heart or something.
Okay, so let me see. We can start with, I think my cutters are in. I mean, I'll be right back. I'll get it for you.
Okay. Okay, I'll wait.
Okay. Talk to everybody.
Let's see who's on. You got Rhonda. Hi, Rhonda. Carrie, Connie, Jim, Margaret, Eve. Hi, guys.
Okay, so we have lots of hearts. You can choose whichever size you like, or a star. You're a superstar, but you're also a sweetheart. So as you wish.
I say. This is a good one.
Oh, cool. So this is so great, rather than you fussing with trying to get it done the right way.
Just sprinkles. This is the easiest
Yeah.
way to make a cake look cute and customized.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks beautiful. I love it. Yeah.
I feel like that's the most fun part of making a cake.
I think so too, and I think that everyone loves sprinkles, right?
Yeah, and you can do it with kids.
You can do it for kids or adults. It's funny because my daughter Deanna has always been crazy about sprinkles, and her daughter is crazy about
I love
sprinkles
sprinkles.
too.
They're fun.
So here we go. Now I'm going to take just a wet paper towel
Oh, clean up the edges.
and clean up the edges of the cake. And generally you should use a flat plate, but I didn't have one here that was flat enough. I didn't have it in my hands 5 minutes beforehand, so you just want to clean along the edge because you don't want it to look messy. You want it to look as good as it can look for you doing it at home. And do know that if you have like grooves in your plate, if the chocolate is kind of sticking in there, just go back, wipe it first wet, and then go back with a dry wipe. You can also use a Q-tip or toothpicks or anything like that to get to that edge.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. I love Lazy Susan because it makes everything so much easier. You do get to the point you think, oh, am I making more mess or am I making it right? Right here. We'd probably clean the rest of this up with the toothpick, but what a beautiful cake we have here.
Yay.
So Christina, do you think we should cut it? Or you want to bring it to your parents, not cut?
We can cut it. Believe it either way.
Okay, would you like to try the first piece?
Sure.
Okay, so easy enough that we can cut actually even with a butter knife. Would you like a pie piece cut? Sure. I'll grab a plate. That way everyone can see the inside of the cake and how nice it looks as well. It is so moist and so fluffy and bouncy. And I cannot believe I'm actually teaching people how to make cake because I never used to be able to make a good cake. But if you have the right ingredients and the right tools, you can certainly do that. So here's our chocolate cake. And I know that Christina is going to be in heaven because this girl loves chocolate. So enjoy, Christina. Thanks everyone so much for joining in today. Hope you too have the opportunity or make the opportunity to create your own cake. What do you think?
It's delicious.
Oh, good. Well, that's a good thing, Christina. I'm glad that you like it. So everyone, if you have any questions about this, we will be posting this on our website probably first thing tomorrow morning, along with the chocolate buttercream frosting, which is absolutely fabulous. And if you could see, it just smooths out so nice. You could also pipe around the top of the cake, which I have done in the past, but it's a forever chocolate cake. You'll love this recipe. You'll want to freeze it. Keep it for when guests come, and if you make a small cake and set it aside, it's always great in the freezer as well, and just take it out 2 hours ahead of time to allow it to defrost. But thanks everyone, and thanks so much, Christina, for joining in.
Of course.
Great. Thanks. Good to have you here. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Oh, we forgot our candles.
Aw.
Oh, we have to say one more thing before we go. Our cake is our happy birthday cake to Bon Cook. So, Christina, I think that we need to, before we go, we need to say happy birthday, Bon Cook. We don't need to sing, even though you're a really good singer. I only dream of being a good singer. But why don't we make a great wish for Bon Cook? Because August is our celebration of Bon Cook's 3rd year in business. And we just want to say happy birthday, Bon Cook. And thank you, everyone, to our customers, our hosts, all of our consultants across the U.S., and to our internal Bon Cook team. And let's just wish for a really great year.
Yes.
Happy birthday!
Bon Cook.
Bye!